Go with good evening. This is your host, Michael Dolce, Secrets of the Sire, broadcast live every single week here on TalkingAlternative.com. We are coming at you from a variety of ways and a variety of methods. We are being broadcast, obviously, on TalkingAlternative.com like we are every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m., talking movies, comics, pop culture, and the like. We're also streaming on YouNow, and posting that to our Facebook page, /Secrets of the Sire. So you can actually check out the live YouNow broadcast, which will also be on our YouTube page, which I will be cleaning up over the next few weeks for sure. But what a terrific show that we have going on tonight. I mean, like, really, really great. We have a tremendous guest. We've got Kickstarter guru Joe Mulvey. And now, I call him a Kickstarter guru because he's just really awesome at Kickstarters. He's done at least 2 successful Kickstarters that I know of. One for his creator-owned book, Scam. That was a graphic novel that got funded last year. And then this year now he's doing Mummies Always Right, which is a delightful and gorgeously illustrated premium board book featuring a mischievous mummy who learns that he should always listen to his mummy. We're going to have him on in a little bit. He's going to be on the next segment, though, talking about that. And we are actually launching a Kickstarter. It's very exciting. It is not a Secrets of the Sire Kickstarter. It's a Mike Dolce production, along with James Masia. It's called Plan 10 from Outer Space. And many people will kind of be aware of what that means. That is the sequel to Plan 9 from Outer Space, the infamously bad Ed Wood movie that has a lot of fans. We do a nice little homage to the original film in there, but then we spin it off into new and exciting directions. The original took place in the 50s. And there's a strange noise or static going on. I see Jersey Jedi has joined us. Well, I don't know. Not sure exactly what's going on with the technical aspects, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, so Plan 10 from Outer Space is the Kickstarter we're going to be launching. It's really exciting. It's kind of takes the spin off of the zombies and ghouls in the original film and kind of redirects it that we are the zombies, because we are always plugged into our phones now. We're always plugged into technology. And what happens if an alien civilization was to come and use that to their advantage to enslave and eradicate us? Plan 10 from Outer Space. Kickstarter will be launching July 1st, so we'll be spreading the news and spreading the good word. You can actually go onto Facebook, type in Plan 10, that's the number 10, from Outer Space, and you can get onto our newly created Facebook page. The cover photo will be coming. We got an awesome cover from artist Tony Moy. Yours truly will be co-writing it with James Masia, my convention cohort in crime as we travel the globe. So that's the first good news. The second good news is well, that's it. I mean, we're here. That's the second good news. We're talking live. Wanted to talk a little bit about The Conjuring 2, because that was huge over the weekend, and how it ties into what we're kind of talking about, kind of ties into what we've talked about. And we're going to get Joe Mulvey's opinion. He's going to be on in the next segment. Terrific artist, not just a great Kickstarter guru, but James Wan, the director, is now successfully launched the Conjuring series. He was the director of Saw. He actually wrote and created Saw, so he spun off that franchise. So the man can do horror. He was the director of Fast and Furious 7. So the man can do big-budget action film franchise. Now the question becomes, can he replicate his success for Aquaman, which is going to be the next project that he kind of devotes himself to? And Aquaman's not going to come out for a while. We have many months before it comes out. But he was doing an interview recently, and as it turns out, it was on UpRoxx, but you can actually go to the secretsofthesire.com. That's secretsofthesire.com. Click on an article I wrote for Inquisitor, and it details this interview he had. And he actually had a choice between The Flash and Aquaman. And Warner Brothers kind of gave him that option. And as it turns out, he chose Aquaman, and he kind of said it's because everyone makes fun of him. But the bar is set really, really low. Now, I don't think he meant that the bar is set really low. He doesn't have to do a good job. I think he just meant that, everyone kind of... Aquaman is kind of, the low man on the totem pole. He's like kind of like the pussy in the DC Comics realm. I mean, he can talk to fish. I mean, that's. I have another project that I'm hoping to announce very shortly with Talent Caldwell, who is one of the superstar artists out there. He's done X-Men, he's done Gen 13 and Wildcats. He's done a lot of great projects, and he and I are writing and creating a book right now. But prior to that, he was doing a cartoon series, and it was a superhero spoof. It was called Super Unknown. We're going to have words about Aquaman. Okay, Joe Mulvey, periscoping in. I love that. I love the aggressiveness of not just our listeners, but also our viewers as well on Periscope. Again, you can go to my Twitter account at Michael_Dolce, and you can click right into the Periscope feed. I'm going to actually put that on the Facebook page as well. We are attempting to work out the kinks of the Facebook streaming, but as it stands right now, that is technically not working lately. But anyway, no. So he did this great superhero spoof called Super Unknown, and it had an Aquaman-like character, and he basically, Tal had a great spin on him, I should say, because Aquaman could just basically talk to fish. I mean, it's not really, what really is that? I don't even really know what that is. Yeah, I know, it's great, but it means that, as soon as you step on land, you're kind of useless in a way, right? I mean, your big power. I mean, again, this is the DC Comics 60s version of Aquaman we're talking about here. I'm sure James Wan is going to hype it up, and he's going to do some great things, just like he did with Conjuring 2. But again, he did have the option. He ended up choosing it, though, because of that reason, because the expectations are so low, because Aquaman is not traditionally a well-known character. Now you've got, Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones playing him, Jason Momoa. But yeah, no. So I mean, you've got this really brutish looking guy. He made his debut in Batman v Superman unnecessarily, as did all of the Justice League people unnecessarily debut in the Batman v Superman movie. Joe, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, too. But that's, again, it all kind of relates back to what we were talking about with this expanded DC universe. And I guess the topic, and you can always call in, this is a live call-in show, 877-480-4120. That's 877-480-4120 is, which DC director is going to step up and save this universe? Because, quite frankly, Zack Snyder's had his shot now at Man of Steel. Some people loved Man of Steel, some people hated it. That's okay. But Batman v Superman largely thumbs down. You have your people that enjoyed it. You have Nevin Frederick, who listens to the show, and he loved it. But he's a DC guy, and he loved it only because he loved seeing his favorite characters up there. Not necessarily because it was the best movie he's ever seen. So, that really is what it comes down to. Can James Wan conjure up a very cool Aquaman the way he's done it with Conjuring and Saw and Fast and Furious? I think he can. I think he will. I think it's going to be interesting. But then the other question becomes, is it going to be too late by that point? Are people going to be he actually mentioned something in the article, and again, you can go to secretsofthesire.com. That's Sire, SIRE.com, Secrets of the Sire, and scroll down in our blog, and it's 2 blogs down, and it's an article I wrote, and he talks about the fact that he wonders if people are going to have superhero fatigue by the time the movie even comes out. And that's another question to throw at you guys. Is there going to be superhero fatigue by the time Aquaman comes out? Forget by the time Aquaman comes out. Is there superhero fatigue, period? Are you guys tired of all this? The box office does not suggest that anyone's tired of this. The box office of Civil War does not suggest that. The fact that the next big movie is Independence Day coming out, but really not getting a lot of feedback. I'm not a lot of chatter. I wonder if that's going to kind of fade away. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it, Independence Day. And next week's show, we're going to go full alien, kind of like with Tropic Thunder, where you go full retard. We're going to go full alien. That is a Tropic Thunder reference for anybody out there. I'm not criticizing anybody. I know internet. I know you get very suspicious, internet. You like to beat down people that make fun of somebody, but that is a movie reference. It is a movie reference. Help me out here, people. I know you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we're gonna go full alien next week and talk about all that fun stuff. But yeah, no, is there gonna be superhero fatigue? Is there gonna be? It's a valid question. can James Wan might put out the greatest Aquaman we've ever seen, and it still might not beat Vinny Chase's Entourage version of Aquaman, that top Spider-Man back in 2006. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff kind of happening, a lot of cool stuff going on. So, once again, that number is 877-480-4120. We're going to definitely talk Aquaman with Joe Mulvey, but give you a little setup for our next guest who's going to be coming on the next segment. Joe is not just an expert Kickstarter guru in that he's successfully done some Kickstarters. He's actually also a tremendous artist, and he's a tremendous marketer, and that's something that, as a professional, you don't really... You know, my dream when I was to become, you know, kind of where I am right now and doing comics and talking about comics and movies and screenplays and all this fun stuff, you know, you just kind of envision doing the work. And in fact, I used to think school was kind of a chore because it's like, all right, I don't want to do, you know, math. I definitely don't want to do science, much to my dad's chagrin, who's a scientist. And, well, he is not an actual scientist in that he wears a lab coat or anything like that. He was always into science. He's into chemistry. He's deeply disappointed that not one of his two kids became a scientist in any way, shape, or form. He's hoping that my son will get into science. That'd be cool if he did. I don't really care. But you know, he basically you know, always just wondered whether or not science was going to be this big thing, and you know, in general. Well, we're gonna basically bring in Joe Mulvey to talk about this coming up next, but essentially, switching off the science talk for a second, the other end of comic book creation, though, and screenplay creation and movie creation is the marketing aspect, and it's something that you basically, you know, you don't realize. It's the other side of the equation, and it's the chore. It's almost like going to school and, again, doing science, which is how we kind of all tied that together. For me, that was what it was. Some people love science, so I'm not gonna diss on anybody that likes it. It was not my thing. Whereas the marketing aspect of comics can be fun, but it can be challenging and daunting. So we're going to hear from Joe about all that stuff in our next segment when we return.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Hello, I'm JC.
I'm Joan, and welcome to 21st Century Entrepreneur.
We bring education,
insight,
knowledge,
awareness,
trouble,
craziness, and fun
for you, the entrepreneur who's looking to build
from the future.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, it's all about time travel.
Sure. So we are intermitting. I'm actually doing something different here. I'm disconnecting the show that people can kind of hear in the conversation. So if you're periscoping streaming us right now, or if you are YouNow streaming us, or if you're Facebook streaming us, which we're not actually Facebook streaming, but we have it, you're actually catching the commercial break, talkingalternative.com. Now, what'd you say, DC Legends?
Indeed, end of the season of DC
Okay.
Legends. They finally defeated Vandal Savage, right? They got rid of the bad guy.
Sam, our trusty engineer.
So in the last one, though, they're about to get back on the Wave Rider, their time ship. And before they do, another Wave Rider comes back out of the future. And I forget the name of the character, but a young guy gets out of the ship, and he's like, from the Justice League of America, don't get on that ship or you'll all die. So they're working it into the TV series now.
All right.
Going hot.
Welcome back. Secrets of the Sire, brought to you on talkingalternative.com. For anybody who is live streaming us on Periscope, that is at Michael_Dolce, DOLCE, like Dolce & Gabbana. We used our savvy technology, and we actually disconnected the radio show so you can kind of hear us behind the scenes. I'm always here with my trusty engineer, Sam. our next guest, the other thing that was kind of funny, and this is kind of a little intro into radio world, I had that whole speech on the science thing, and Sam gave me the 2-minute, hey, your time's up in 2 minutes, we're going to break in 2 minutes, and completely, for some reason, I just completely blanked on seeing that, so it was exciting. So, talking out of your butt to try to reestablish what you're actually trying to talk about. Fun stuff. Give you a little look behind the camera. All right, we're going to welcome our next guest, Joe Mulvey, who never blinks. He's always on top of things. Joe, are you there? You're excited. I'm excited. Let's talk about your Kickstarter first, because I think that in and of itself, I marvel at the fact that you were basically funded within a day or two. I feel like, right? Your goal was like $10,000, and you hit that, running. So let's talk about first what your Kickstarter is about, where people can still pledge because it's still up there right now, and then how the hell did you do this? Because I think there are people out there that would just love to know your secret. We'll talk Ryan Fitzpatrick at some point. Mm-hmm. And there you go. Now, how far in advance were you prepping this Kickstarter? Mm-hmm. 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 So a lot of different areas we can spin out from that last sentence, but let's talk Kickstarter first. Let's look at the marketplace in Kickstarter. I was actually talking to Sam about this before the show started, how, I started in 2006. So that was my first official publication. It was called the Sire. It's about a superhero forced by his own costume to fight evil. There was online venues, of course, but to make it, you had to make it through Diamond. Now there's so many avenues and so many internet options to sell, and Kickstarter being one of them. Do you have to go through Diamond anymore to be quote unquote a success? Do you have to do all that, or do you think there's really? What do you think about all that? Yeah, you got to talk more than that, though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You just made Sam's day. You just made Sam's day. He's like, oh, that's great. He just cross promoted. Look at him go. See, this guy's a killer promoter, Sam. That's what it is. Sorry, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's, that's actually a great point too, because I've worked with people and they didn't get their Kickstarters funded, and I had 2 Kickstarters in 2015. One was for The Undone, one was for the new issue of Sire. I actually love putting out new issues of Sire through Kickstarter. I feel like it's a direct to market. It gets people kind of interested in the book that might not have seen it, but it also kind of adds a little bit of legitimacy in a sense to it, to the people who have picked it up at shows, who have bought it in stores before, where it's better than just selling on your own site, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was actually the thing that killed me, was the amount of work that goes into it. You don't even realize the amount of work behind the scenes. I did a month worth of prep on my first Kickstarter, and even that I was just blown away. And then once you hit that launch button, then it's just, I was glued to my laptop. Like, because then you start getting some emails like, oh, this person pledged and this person pledged, and you're like, this is great. And then you get that lull in the middle, and But you've actually, again, how long did it take for this Kickstarter to get officially funded? Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yep. Interesting. Yeah, no, that's very interesting. So now let me ask you a question too. I mean, the rewards. I mean, how? Again, you were planning since New York Comic Con, so it's a 6-month advance window. If I'm, because that's I think the biggest question that people have is, how do I get the rewards, or if I'm planning the Kickstarter, like what kind of rewards, what rewards work best that you found, and how do you get people on board to do the rewards? Do you end up paying the artists like their page rate and say, and then just put a markup up for the Kickstarter? I mean, that's something that I think people would love to hear something about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Mm. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Yes. Shipping's a huge thing that too, and it just there are companies out there that will do the shipping for you, and that's always a plus too. But I've also noticed that I did my own shipping myself because look, I kept it small, but still I was going to the post office 3-4 days in a row. The post office guys were looking at me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, this was sort of a success. I think it was a success. But you're talking about like not calculating the right amount of money for shipping, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, it's insane, though. I mean, that's absolutely insane. So they just, I mean, what are they planning? 7 months ahead, 8 months ahead, I guess, and rates change. I mean, that's really unbelievable. I mean, that's little things like this that you just don't even think of when you're doing a Kickstarter. You're always focused on the big goal, but it's these little details that kind of get in the way that can really, prevent it. So we got maybe a couple minutes before we go to the next segment. So before we do, give me your top 3 tips that anybody who's starting a Kickstarter should go about doing. Mm-hmm. So you're saying even before the Kickstarter launches, don't create in a bubble. You're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sam and I were just talking about that. Yeah. Well, what do you mean by that, actually? Uh-huh. Sure. Okay. Now, just going back to the second point too, the last until the last person has. You're talking about the fulfillment end, or you're just talking about the campaign itself, or you're saying just in general, don't wait until the very end, with your campaign. Oh, did we lose you?
No.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's where I was kind of getting at too. Was that moment of, okay, I got funded, everything is awesome, and then you're like, oh crap, I actually have to do this now. Do you recommend actually having the project done in the can? Do you think that actually adds more success to it? Very, very good. All right, so when we come back, I want you. Well, we're going to talk some comics. We're going to talk some Aquaman as well. But I want to give your story. It's one of my favorite stories about how you ended up promoting one of your previous books called Scam. So when we return.
Can you also ask him about Indiegogo?
Yeah.
What's the difference and why Kickstarter over Indiegogo?
MySpace to Facebook. That's what it is.
Yeah. Did you have any opportunity to work on a logo for me?
I actually am working on it, but I have not gotten anything finished just yet.
Okay.
But I have, yes. It has been addressed.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. All right, we are once again. There's Sam. There's Hojo. Trusty intern. Sam again. Kind of giving you the behind the scenes. We're talking with Joe Mulvey right now. Doing some awesome stuff. And we're going to be coming back now. So appreciate all you guys on Periscope. Welcome back, Secrets of the Sire. We've got Joe Mulvey here. Joe, I got a question from Sam, and this is always a good one. Indiegogo versus Kickstarter. Yep. Mm-hmm. What is Kick Booster? I mean, you named Kick Booster, you named Kickback. I mean, what are these programs? Oh, okay. That's interesting. You know, one thing I thought was really, and actually I forwarded this immediately over to my partner, James Massia, who we're doing Kickstarter together with in July, was your ability to do the email. You actually, you did a direct email to somebody, and if they filled something out, then you kind of unlocked a new reward midway through, and it was like a print, like a custom print or something like that. What is that a built-in feature to Kickstarter now, or how did you guys do that? Is that is like a third-party plugin or something? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Mm-hmm. But you know, the thing that I marveled at was the email itself. Now, do you send that email via Kickstarter? You did. Okay. All right. That's what I thought, because I was like, wow, this is really incredible. So getting back to Tyler for a second too, I actually spoke to him last year at New York Comic Con, and Sam, to answer your question, the Indigo versus Kickstarter was the MySpace versus Facebook, in his opinion. It was Indiegogo is not even close in the reputation department that Kickstarter is, in terms of, because I guess Kickstarter gives you that I don't want to say element of danger, but there is a danger your book might not get funded. What do you do? I mean, what do you do if you collect $5,000 but you needed $6,000? You have to give all that money back. It's all or nothing at that point. Versus Indiegogo, where it's like, hey, awesome, I got $5,000, I can make this project. Maybe it just seems more like begging. I don't know. I'm not sure what the difference is there. But so, Joe, you had a great book with Comics Tribe, published by Tyler's company, Comics Tribe, whatever it's called, Scam. And you mentioned it before, it was a Vegas heist book, super-powered Vegas heist book. You did some out-of-the-box marketing that most comic book people, I'm going to just say people in general, just don't, we were talking publishers, store owners, don't do. What was it?
We put up a billboard on the Las Vegas Strip.
I saw it too, actually. I think I drove by it. I was like, wow, that's incredible. And what were you hoping to get out of it, and what did you get out of it?
Well, let me see if you believe it. It's my first book. It's called Stand Coming Out. Real quick. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say anything. You're good.
We had done a mini distribution with it that sold out really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond got in touch with us, and then we were like, oh, this is going to be our first book in Diamond, and we kind of hadn't accelerated the Kickstarter yet, so Diamond's the big dog, right?
Sure.
You got to make a splash. What are you going to do? So we reached out to several top comic websites to find out what advertising is, and it was no joke, double and triple what it cost us to put up a billboard.
Did you, was there any kind of call to action on there that people could go into the comic store? Did you tie it in with any comic book stores?
Yeah, National Comics in Las Vegas partnered with us on it
Mm-hmm.
to put it up there, and it was on there, and we had the tagline, what
That's actually a very, very good tagline because it's very, very true, especially with the Hollywood system the way it is now. One last piece to this story, and I remember you telling me about it. You had a certain Marvel editor kind of come to your table and give notice because of that billboard. Well, I'm going to tell it's Tom Brevoort. But that is, and that's, but honestly, like, things like that, what year was your first book? And that was your first, like, foray into comics in general, or did you do smaller stuff before then? Like, what would you say your first official, like, I am now a professional in comics? What year? That would have to be it, right? So I started 5 years earlier. I started in 2006. There just wasn't. It's funny, I always had the entrepreneur mindset. You kind of mentioned, like, saying, you'd send your writing samples in, you send your art samples in, whatever the case is. I never really wanted to do that. Actually, at the end of the day, I always just wanted to make my own books because don't get me wrong, and you and I have talked about this before, we would both work for Marvel, we would both work for DC, we would both work on these iconic characters, but that was never my thing. But back, in college in 2001, 2002, and then, launching out in 2006, we just didn't have these kind of avenues now. Where you're absolutely right. Like, there's no reason why, if you have an entrepreneurial mindset and want to do comics, that you can't make money doing comics. And I think Kickstarter is now a huge, huge point. All right, but you love comics, so we're going to get into a couple of things. We're going to go spinning the racks with you here. We talked about Aquaman at the beginning of the show. James Wan, awesome Conjuring franchise. He launched the Saw franchise, Fast and Furious 7. I think the guy's going to do a great job with Aquaman. However, by this time, do you think people are going to be kind of tired of superheroes at this point, by the time Aquaman even comes out?
No, I think it's a little point. Everyone doesn't realize that. Not everyone doesn't realize that. Everyone likes to hit this pressure button of, oh my God, it's all going to blow up, it's all going to end. And the truth of it is that it's just a genre. It's a genre like anything else. If it's done well, it's fair. That's it. With a great movie, with a fun movie, done well, it's fair.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a good point too, because I think there was the vampire craze in the 2000s, and now there's the zombie craze. But I guess not that they ever go away. Vampires don't go away, zombies don't go away. But you do kind of grow tired of it. I think when Abe Lincoln Zombie Hunter came out, I think that was, kind of the signal to the end of the zombie thing. Walking Dead is still hugely popular. Fear the Walking Dead is still hugely popular. But I would say the zombie craze is now kind of on its way out. Do you get the sense that's going to end up happening with superheroes, though, or you just think it's going to lull and right back again?
I think it's fun. I think that there is such a backlog of unbelievable stories, comic genre, and I mean from everybody. So when you have them on Netflix, when you have them on TV, when you have them on cable, when you have them on in movie theaters, it's just another part of the genre of the entertainment of movies, TV, and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's going to go away. It might not have really popularity, but there's always going to be a book that either, rebranding it or giving new life.
So why is Aquaman going to be cool?
Because you're not. This guy has 70% of the planet to cover, and he's keeping shit to show.
But yeah, but then all the battles have to happen down there for him to really be relevant.
As opposed to up in space.
Well, but Gotham is right next to Metropolis now, as we've learned from Batman v Superman. So I mean, he's like a stone's throw away from danger over there too. So, I mentioned in the opening of the show, though, so Talent Caldwell had a short-lived cartoon series. I think you can actually see them on YouTube, but he envisioned Aquaman as, for exactly the statement you just said, his Aquaman-ish character ended up getting kicked out of the ocean because he kept basically just commandeering all these fish, and they kind of grew tired of just being like weapons and shrapnel and and all these battles taking place. So there are, you know, I don't know. Aquaman just always has this like punchline-esque. Maybe it was the green costume. I don't know. Maybe there's just something about it where. But I guess if anybody can do justice to it, James Wan will do justice to it. Is that going to be the first DC movie to do well? Or actually, let's even go back a little bit. What did you think of Batman v Superman?
I'm going to say it was a movie. I was not a fan.
Yeah.
The thing that ruined it for me is that Superman should be an aspiration. He seemed just elated. Everything was elated in him. He couldn't seem happy for a second. I think that's why the TV shows from DC work better, because they kind of embrace the happiness of the character and their abilities.
You get the feeling Zack Snyder just wanted to do Batman and just never got the chance.
Well, I'm comparing me to Ben Affleck Batman, which I'm overrated about it. You know what I'm saying? And he said, supposed to be taking some of the regular storylines
Okay.
into the story, so I mean, that's going to work for me. I really think what they're doing with DC's got to do, and this is going to sound insane, they need to get away from Superman being the big guy. That's the thing that Marvel does. They don't have the one, it's not one mega power and everyone else is underneath him. And Superman for too long has been this character that's just revered and all this. But yeah, okay, Superman, we get it. But they have so many other good characters that Aquaman can be a great movie, The Flash can be a great movie. You know, if they just have the right guy, and I really believe Jeff Johns at the head is the absolute definition of a turnaround for that entire thing.
But that's, you know, and that's something they didn't have before, too. So you keep saying Superman's the biggest. I think they just kind of, you know, threw stuff at the wall. You know, Zack Snyder, hey, we're going to make a Superman movie. Awesome. Make a Superman movie because that character's there. Christopher Nolan, I'm going to make a Batman movie. Great. But there was no cohesion to it. Now there seems to be some cohesion, but they're kind of sputtering out of the gate. Wonder Woman, what'd you think of her in the movie, though? Yeah. I agree. I definitely agree with that, too. All right, we've got a minute to go. Tell everyone where they can pledge your Kickstarter. Tell everyone where they can go. Tell them what it's about real quick, and give us a 30-second elevator pitch and where they can go and find it.
You go to MummyGoodBreak.com. It is about a little feature culture artist, a little monster mummy who's mischievous, and his big grown-up, super amazing mom teaches him how to not get in trouble all the time. So it's at MummyGoodBreak.com, and we have 2 more days left for the campaign. So get on there and price, and hopefully enjoy the Kickstarter campaign. I'll give you all the time.
And enjoy Joel Mulvey. You're very, very active on Twitter and social media, like you said. Love to have you on again as well, too. What's the next convention you're going to be at?
I will be at Boston from the beginning of August. Then I'll be at Baltimore in September and New York Comic-Con in October.
Excellent. And we're going to have to take an eject game, and we'll hopefully have Ryan Fitzpatrick as the quarterback when that happens. Joe, thank you so much. When we return, we're going to talk a little bit of Indiana Jones here, and we're going to talk about a possible Quicksilver Deadpool movie. Quicksilver Deadpool.
Quicksilver?
X-Men Apocalypse star Evan Peters wants Deadpool Quicksilver movie. So
Quicksilver.
He was in the X-Men movies, the Apocalypse movies.
Oh, he was in the Apocalypse movie. Oh.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it yet. So.
Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. We are on commercial break right now. What up? Great time. Thanks, guys. Yes. Yes, you should definitely come to the studio next time. That would be much, much better. Do a whole lot. I actually want to think about getting him on as a co-host at some point.
Oh, yeah, he's fun.
No, he's good. He knows his stuff. People that know their stuff is great.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm carrying this show, but, you know, it's okay.
It's some real comic book people here, right?
Got to get Joan Pelzer on as well, too.
Yeah.
All right, so when we come back, we're going to be talking Indiana Jones. His fate is already sealed.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's supposedly. Welcome back. Secrets of the Sire. We are talking comics, movies, TV, pop culture. I want to thank Joe Mulvey again. Go check out his Kickstarter, mummiesalwaysright.com. We'll have our own Kickstarter coming out July 1st, Plan 10 from Outer Space. We're going to actually be putting up some cover art pretty soon, so go check out the Plan 10 from Outer Space. We're going to send a link. We're going to post a link to it via our Secrets of the Sire Facebook page and our secretsofthesire.com page. We're periscoping still. Thank you guys for periscoping. All of our loyal Periscope followers as well. Want to spin the racks? We got 15 minutes to go. Want to spin the racks around the what is going on in the comics, movies, and TV pop culture realm. Indiana Jones, his fate is sealed. Steven Spielberg, talking to Hollywood Reporter, says that he will not die, as Harrison Ford's character may or may not have in Star Wars. Come on, Star Wars has been out for 6 months now. I think at this point it's safe that if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, Han Solo dies. There, I said it. Oh yeah, I was supposed to be like, spoilers, wait, spoilers. No, 6 months is a proper moratorium when you can actually say it. So yeah, so unlike Harrison Ford, and heck, if you could read the article, then you would see that Steven Spielberg actually spoiled it for everyone. Says that even though this is going to be a old Indiana Jones movie again, he's going to be old Harrison Ford. They're not going to screen capture him. They're not going to recast him. They're not going to do anything like that. He will not perish by the end of it, so he will make it out okay. It's good to know. My take on Indiana Jones, though, I kind of wish... years ago, when Avatar first came out, there was a big rumble. Like George Lucas invested big bucks in the technology that James Cameron actually was using in Avatar, with the idea that you can project anything you want on screen. You can project a young Harrison Ford. You can project a young Han Solo. You can project all these things on screen. That I would have liked to have actually seen. I would have liked to have seen a young Indiana Jones played by Harrison Ford, the actor, and what's on screen is a young Harrison Ford, because you could actually, you could get away with it. You have the actor, you have the guy. I would have rather seen that. I don't know if I want to see him be old Indiana Jones. You know, it's almost a little kind of sad. The guy's 73 now. He's going to be Sean Connery. You know, Sean Connery was in his 50s when he was in Last Crusade, so he was in his late 50s, so he won't even be that old as Indiana Jones will be, or as Harrison Ford will be in the next Indiana Jones. I don't know. Either that or maybe recast him. Let's reboot it. Or pass the torch. I think at some point, you got to pass the torch or do something. I know, look, Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. He's iconic. He's awesome. But, look, at the end of the day, he's 73 years old. We got to do something, right? All right, so Indiana Jones. I'm excited there's a new one coming out, though. That makes the 12-year-old in me kind of cry. Good tears. It's going to be coming out probably in 2018, I think, or late 2017, something like that. We'll get the actual facts, but that's the kind of fact-checking we do here. X-Men Apocalypse star Evan Peters wants Deadpool Quicksilver movie. According to The Wrap, I think it'd be really fun, Peters tells The Wrap. He would love to see his Quicksilver character team up with Ryan Reynolds for a Deadpool movie. And I would say, why not? He was awesome in Days of Futures Past. He was awesome in X-Men Apocalypse, apparently. He was, basically the only good thing in that movie, from what some critics are saying. Why wouldn't you pair up the two? It makes total sense, and I think that it would make a great movie. I have to rewatch Deadpool, though, because... So I had a friend of mine actually ask me, he's like, Mike, you're into comics, you're into all this stuff. I took my fiance to see Deadpool. Didn't like it. And I'm like, yeah, no, okay. And I said, why? He says, I don't know. And I said, well, I think you probably have Van Helsing syndrome in reverse. And he said, what the heck is Van Helsing syndrome? And I said, well, Van Helsing was such a bad movie, but I didn't see it right off the gate. But I heard it was terrible. I heard it was the worst movie ever made. So by the time I actually did watch it, I ended up sitting through 2 hours, enjoying the hell out of it, thinking, how is this so bad? But the reason was my expectations were so low. And I think by the time this guy actually saw Deadpool, his expectations were so high that he walked in saying, this is what everyone's talking about? So I got to rewatch Deadpool. Apparently there are things you miss if you don't watch it a second time also. There's a couple little, things here and there. I thought Deadpool was really good. I didn't think it was, and as it's been well cataloged here, I don't think it was as good as the money it made. but we'll see. I think now they're going to have Van Helsing syndrome in reverse for the second one. I mean, how are they going to top? You know, I mean, they essentially kind of came in under the radar. They came in with the curiosity factor. They came in with the, you know, taking the superhero movie, kind of like what Joe Mulvey had said, and kind of spinning it on its head a little bit and doing things a little differently. Of course, now we're going to have an R-rated Wolverine movie because of it. And, you know, they were talking about, you know, possibly R-rated movie here and there for other movies now. So, I mean, it definitely opened some doors, and it was fun. I thought Colossus looked horrible, though, in that entire movie. I wish that I don't know why they can't make him look as cool as he did in X-Men, in X2, X United, and use the Russian accent. That's awesome. Nothing wrong with that. Just the looks and the special effects, But a Quicksilver Deadpool movie would be really fun. But I guess, you know, that's the whole thing, is how busy is Ryan Reynolds' schedule going to be? Because now, I mean, you want to do a Deadpool Spider-Man movie. You want to do, you look like claymation. I agree. That's at Joe Mulvey. Again, you can comment in. You can call in anytime, 877-480-4120. Yeah, Colossus was just god-awful back then. It was just really, really, in that movie. Sorry, Colossus was just terrible in that movie, like, as opposed to back then in X2, where I thought he looked really cool. He looked like metallic. Henry Rollins, in the news, Walking Dead, he actually auditioned for the part of Negan on The Walking Dead. Fun fact about Walking Dead, I still have not seen the last episode. My dad and I watch Walking Dead religiously. He had heart surgery right around there, success heart surgery, and then they took it off on demand. So I'm still waiting to see the end of it. I've now heard what happens at the end. I know what happens in the comic. I'm not going to spoil that for any listeners out there, but I wanted to really focus on the fact that it's Henry Rollins could have been, you know, in place of, you know, on the show, and that actually would have been really, really kind of neat to see. I could really see him being the Negan, you know, character that they, you know, instead had Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you know, portray. That would have been really cool. Henry Rollins has the type of career I wish I had, not in the sense of you know, being a musician, although I was in bands for years and all that stuff. But I mean, he's just done it all. He's just done it all, and he's kind of like, I like just dipping my toe in. I like dipping my toe in things. I don't like jumping in the swimming pool full-hearted. You know, I need all these variations. So it would have been cool to see Henry Rollins as Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, though, from all accounts, because again, I have not seen that last episode. I will see it. And I'll watch Daredevil. I gotta watch that. There's so much. There's just not enough time. Like I know, there's just not enough time. He did do a great job playing a Nazi on Sons of Anarchy. Yes, see, Henry Rollins. Henry Rollins is the man. Conjuring 2, talking about that as well. James Wan, I think he's going to do a great job as Aquaman. I love the Entourage reference that he made in his interview with UpRoxx. But he is living the dream right now, because Conjuring 2 is just winning the box office. And a spin-off for the nun in Conjuring 2. There is a creepy, creepy nun who steals the show, apparently, and is just one of these, like, creepy, you know, whatever. Now is going to get a spin-off. It's going to get a spin-off. So we're actually looking forward to seeing that. And there's some pictures. If you go online and Google creepy nun in Conjuring 2 and you see the images, it's it's definitely that will stick with you. That'll stick with you. All right, we've had a great show today. I want to do a little recap for everybody. We had Joe Mulvey on. He is doing a Kickstarter right now. There's I think 2 or 3 more days left. It's not much to go, but he has a beautiful book, beautifully drawn. It's Mummy's All Right, gorgeously illustrated premium board book featuring a mischievous little monster named Gauze, Gaws, who learns all the many reasons he should listen to his mummy. And it's cute. It's all ages. It's really great. Joe on the show giving us all these tips in Kickstarter. Go tweet him at Joe Mulv. He mentioned Tyler James from Comics Tribe. That's another great small company it's like they're way bigger than their size. I mean, they're a handful of guys that are doing some really cool comics. Oxymoron, Scam, we kind of mentioned those two before, and they're just knocking it out of the park. And I just love the entrepreneurial ways they go about making money in comics, and that's kind of something we talked about as well too. I think there's just so many opportunities to make comics out there. That used to be the advice I would give people when they would come up to me in conventions. Hey, I want to do what you're doing. I want to be behind the table versus, on the other side of the table. And I would say, oh, great, go make a comic. Go make it. Go make one. But in 2006, 2005, 2004, when I was doing this and prepping to do this, we didn't have Kickstarter. Now Kickstarter, we had Gabe Yoakum from Double Take On last week. He said it. Kickstarter is a completely different audience. It's people that, really actively reading comics. There's digital comics. There's Comixology now. There's PDF downloads. There's, Kablam. There's just so many great ways. So anyway, go check out his Kickstarter. Mummy's all right, like mummy, like mummy. Really, really cool stuff. Next week's going to be a fun show because Independence Day is coming out. Independence Day is one of my favorite all-time movies. I'm going to talk all about Independence Day, but we're going to try to get the Ancient Alien guys on because I love Ancient Aliens. So we're going full Alien next week on Secrets of the Sire. Tune in every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can catch me on secretsofthesire.com. That's S-I-R-E. Go to facebook.com/secretsofthesire. Find me on Twitter @Michael_Dolce. Do you believe? I want to believe. We're going to talk X-Files. We're going to talk aliens. We're going full Alien next week in honor of Independence Day. We'll see you then.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.